ಸಂಸಾರದಾವ ನಲಲಿದಲೋಕ ತ್ರಣಯ ಕಾರುಣ್ಯ ಗಣಗಣತ್ವಂ प्रब्धस्य कल्याण गुणर्नवस्य वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् महाप्रभो कीर्तन नित्य गीता वादित्रमाद्यान् मनसुरसेना रोमाञ्चकाम्पाश्रुतरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीविग्रहाराधन नित्यानाना सिंगारातान्मान्दिरमजानादो युक्तस्य भक्तां च नियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्री भगवत्प्रसादा स्वादान्न तृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्घन् कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारा माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्नाम् प्रतीक्षणा स्वादनलोलुपास्य वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् निकुञ्जयूनो रतिकेलिसिद्ध्यै यायालिभिर्युक्तेरपेक्षणीया तत्रादिदाक्षात् हतिवल्लभास्य वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् साक्षादरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तास्तथा भाव्यत एव साद्भिः किन्तु प्रभोर्या प्रिय एव तास्या वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादान् न गति कुतोऽपि ध्यायान् सुवान्तस्य यशस्त्रीसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् 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 नमा ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसादि गौरा भक्तवृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसादि गौरा भक्तवृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री Advaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Nila Madhava Radha Nila Madhava Radhe. Jayo Jagannatha Jayo Baladeva Jayo Subhadrama Jayo Sudarshana. Jayo Sita Ram, Jayo Sita Ram, Jayo Sita Ram, Jayo Lakshmana Hanuman. Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha. Jayo Gauranitai, Jayo Gauranitai, Jayo Gauranitai, Jayo Gauranitai. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo Guru Deva, Jayo Guru Deva, Jayo Guru Deva, Jayo Guru Deva. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Om Shnupad Brahmam Sabhajaka Jaya Shtota Shata Shishma His Divine Grace Upper Chandarinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON PBTP I found Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Shnupad Brahmam Sabhajaka Jaya Shtota Shata Shishma His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Premise Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvipa Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Shri Purushottam Chaitra Jagnapuri Dham Ki Jai Shri Ayodhya Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samavrita Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Ishvara Puri Tirobhava Mahosava Ki Jai Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladaladaine. Hiranyakashiporvakshaha. Shilatankanakalaye. Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha. Yato yato yami tato Narsimha. Bahe Narsimho Hrudaye Narsimho. Narasimhamadim charanam prapade. Tava karakamalavari nakam adbhuta shringam dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringam keshavadrita narahari rupa. Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare. Heyo Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita जयो नरसिंहदेव जयो नरसिंहदेव जयो नरसिंहदेव जयो नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जयो नरसिंहदेव जयो प्रहलाद महाराज जयो प्रहलाद महाराज जयो प्रहलाद महाराज जयो प्रहलाद महाराज महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव जय लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा स्वामी की जय जय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी 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 नमो नमः राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो अभिलाषी 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 ये तुम्हार शरण लो तारा वांछ पूर्ण हो ये तुम्हार शरण लो तारा वांछ पूर्ण हो कृपा कोरी कोरो तारे वृंदावन वासी कृपा कोरी कोरो तारे वृंदावन ಸಖಿರನುಗತ ಕುರು ಈ ನಿವೇದನ ಸಖಿರನುಗತ ಕು ಸೇವಾಧಿಕಾರ ದಿಯೆ ಕೊರೋ ನಿಜ ದಾಸಿ ಸೇವಾ करो निज दासी दीना कृष्ण दासे को ये न मोरा हो दीना कृष्ण दासे ये न मोरा हो श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा इन बासी श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा इन भासी श्री गोविंद प्रेमे सदा इन भासी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः यसी नमो नमः यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे तानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय तुलसी महारानी 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 जय वृंदे देवी जय वृंदे देवी जय वृंदे देवी जय वृंदे देवी जय वृंदे जय वृंदे देवी जय वृंदे देवी जय वृंदे देवी जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रीवृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः। वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः। वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च श्रीवृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः। वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्याय वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय।
Oh Tulasi, beloved Krishna, I bow down before you again and again. My desire for the service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Wherever take shelter you had wished fulfilled, please have mercy upon me and make me resident in Vrindavana. My desire also grant me residence in the precious groves of Shiva and Davana Tham. Thus within my vision I shall behold the beautiful path of Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me follow a cowherd and of Vraja. Please give me the privilege of devotional service and make me your own maidservant. This very fallen lowly servant of Krishna prays. May I always swim in the love of Shri Radha and Govinda. Srimati Tulsi Maharani ki jai. There are 10 fences to be avoided in the matter of chanting holy names, and they are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who dedicate their lives for propagation of the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of the demigods as Lord Shiva or Brahma to be equal to independent name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literature pursuant to Vedic version. 5. To consider glories chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities and strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider chanting Hare Krishna with auspicious ritualistic activities, offering the Vedas fruity activities, karma, ganda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about glorious holy name. 10. To not complete faith in the chanting holy names, and to maintain material attachments in understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve desired success. Krishna Prema. Now let us offer most humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just as trees who can fulfill to everyone and are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. One Shri Chaitanya Shastakam ki jai. Jeto darpana marjanam pavamaha davakni nirvapanam Shriya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavatu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamita Swadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahudani Ja Sarva Shaktis Tatra Pita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha Etadishi Tavakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durudevami Desham Iha Janina Nurakaha Trinatapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sadaharihi Nathanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitamba Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Jammani Jammanishvare Bhavatat Bhaktir Haituki Tavayi Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Man Vishame Bhavam Puta Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Stita Duri Satwesham Vichintaya Nayanam Kalata Shrudaraya Vadanam Kat Kada Rudaya Gira Pulakai Nichitam Mapurkada Tava Nama Karane Bhavishati Yuga itam nimishena chakshusha pravisha itam shunya itam jagat sarvam govinda virahe name ashrisha va padaratam pinnashtumam hatarshanam marmahatam karotu va yatha tatha va vitatatu lampato mat prana nathastu se eva na paraha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes fire of conditional life, repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction of humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone grants all benediction of human beings. Thus you have hundreds of millions of names, Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, I invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, our kindness enables us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I'm so unfortunate I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor to desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers, only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Sahamarjananda Krishna, I am eternal servitor, yet somehow I fall in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of lotus sea. O my Lord, while my eyes bedecked with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name, while my voice choke up, when hairs my body stand and to recitation of your name. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considered moment to be like a great millennium. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord. He shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything, everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Shri Mangala Charna prayers ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshum Litam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Desha Tarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshapanivi Devi Daidaya Kripaptaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhavin Namaha Madhuryo Jala Premadya Shri Rupanuka Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murteye Dinatarine Rupanuka Virudapha Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murteye Vipalambara Sambodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumistvam Nirtishta Sajana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarabhama Shri Jagannatayate Namaha Vancha Kalpa Thurupishcha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishin Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Svarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Sratoro Pango Mama Manda Mater Kati Masarva Swapadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vindadana Kalpadumada Shimadra Nagara Singhasanasto Shrimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prishtaripi Sevyamano Smarami Shiman rasa rasaram bivam shivata tatastitaha Karsham venu suner gopir gopinatha shiyestunaha Tapta kanchana gaurangi radhe vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu sute devi panamami hari priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Mangala Charna Prayers Ki Jai Shri Brahma Samhita Ki Jai Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadya Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Parakara Satmasukappa Viksha Lakshariteshu Surabhi Rabi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasa Shatasam Brahmasevyamanam Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Venun Kavanantam Ravinda Dalayataksam Parhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Gandarpagoti Gamaniya Vishesha Shopam Govindam Hadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Alola Chantakala Savanamala Vamshi Ranangatam Panayakeri Kalavilasam Shamam Tribanga Laditam Yatapakasham Govindam Hadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashanti panti karayanti chiram jaganti ananda chimmaya satuchara vigrahasya govindamadi purusham tamaham pajami advaitam achotam anadim ananta rupam adyam purana purusham navayovanam cha vedesho durlabam madurlabam atma bhakta govindamadi purusham tamaham pajami Pantastu Koti Shatavassara Samprakamyo Vayurathapi Manaso Munipangavanan Sopiasti Yapapada Simya Vichinta Tatve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ekopya Sarachaitum Jakatanta Kotim Yachakti Rasti Jakatanta Chayaya Tantaha Antantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yad Bhava Bhavitadiyo Manujastateva Samprapya Rupa Mahima Sanayana Pushaha Suktaryam Eva Nikama Patitai Stuvanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ananda Chimma Rasa Patibhavitabis Tapiya Evan Jarupa Tayakalabihi Goloka eva nivasatya kilatma bhuto Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Premanjana churuta bhakti vilochanena Santa sadeva hridayeshu vilokayanti Yam shama sundam achintya guna swarupam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Ramadi murtishu kala niyamena tishtan Nanavataramakarodh bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramapumam Yo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami. Krishna, who is not Govinda, the Supreme Godhead, he has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and is the prime cause of all causes. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire, in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purple trees, always serve the great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or gopis.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers beautified with the moon locket, who so two hands are adored with the flute and jeweled ornaments, who always reveals in pastimes of love, whose graceful three-folded blending form of Syamasundara is eternally manifest.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of the transcendental figure process is himself, the full fledged functions of all the organs and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests them and infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha. Yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the the tip of the toes of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane extending over thousands of millions of years.
He is an undifferentiated entity as there is no. He is an undifferentiated entity as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore.
I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra suktas told by the Vedas, by gaining their appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities in the company of her confidants, Sakhis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily forms, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Syamasundara, Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna and the different avatars in the world in the forms of Rama, Narsimha, Vamana, etc. as his subjective portions.
Sri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita 7.1 purport. Shrinvatam swakada Krishna punya sravana kirtanaha hridayanta histo hi apadrani vidinoti suhritsatam nasta prayesva abadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भगवती भक्तिर भवति नैस्तिकी तदा राजास्तमो भावा काम लोभ जयाश्चये चेत एतेर अनाविदं सितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवद् भक्ति योगतः भगवत् तत्व विज्ञानं मुक्त संगस्य जायति विद्यते हृदय ग्रन्थेश्चिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयाः क्षीयन्ते च कर्माणि दृष्टा एवात्मनीश्वरे. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asamsayam Samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. Bhagavatam 1.2.17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Hare Krishna. We'll continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 8. यस्य वाचा प्रजा सर्वा गावास्तन्त्येव यन्त्रितः हरन्ति बलिम् आयातास्तस्मै मुख्याय ते नमः. Yasya, of whom, Vacha, by the Vedic directions, Prajaha, living entities, Sarvaha, all, Gavaha, bulls, Tantya, by a rope, Eva, as, Yantritaha, are directed, Haranti, offer, take away, Balim, presentation, ingredients for worship, Ayataha, under control, Tasmai, unto him, Mukyaya, unto the chief person, Te, unto you, Tanamaha, respectful obeisances. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All the living entities within the universe are conducted by the Vedic directions. As the bull is directed by the rope attached to its nose, no one can violate the rules laid down in the Vedic literatures. To the chief person who has contributed the Vedas, we offer our respect. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Vedic literatures are the laws of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One cannot violate the injunctions given in the Vedic literatures any more than one can violate the state laws. Any living creature who wants a real benefit in life must act according to the direction of the Vedic literature. The conditioned souls who have come to this material world for material sense gratification are regulated by the injunctions of the Vedic literature. Sense gratification is just like salt. One cannot take too much or too little, but one must take some salt in order to make one's foodstuff palatable. Those conditioned souls who have come to this material world should utilize their senses according to the direction of the Vedic literature. Otherwise, they will be put into a more miserable condition of life. No human being or demigod can enact laws like those of the Vedic literature because the Vedic regulations are prescribed by the Supreme Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 9. Sattvam vidistva sambhumams tamasha lupta karmanam adabradhaya yadrisya apanan arhasi kshitum saha hi tvam you vidastva perform sam good fortune bhuman O great Lord tamasa by the darkness lupta have been suspended karmanam of prescribed duties adabra magnanimous without reservation Dayaya, mercy, Drishtya, by your glance, Apanan, us, the surrendered, Arhasi, are able, Ikshitum, to see. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The demigods prayed to Brahma, please look upon us mercifully, for we have fallen into a miserable condition. Because of the darkness, all our work has been suspended. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Because of complete darkness throughout the universe, the regular activities and engagements of all the different planets were suspended. In the north and south poles of this planet, there are sometimes no divisions of day and night. Similarly, when the sunlight does not approach the different planets within the universe, there is no distinction between day and night. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 10. Esa devaditer garbha oja kashyapam arpitam disastimirayan sarva vardhate gnar ivaidasi eshaha. This, Deva, O Lord, Dite, O Diti, Garbha, Om, Oja, semen, Kashyapam, of Kashyapa, Arpitam, deposited, Disha, directions, Timirayan, causing complete darkness, Sarvaha, all, Vardhate, overloads, Agnihi, fire, Iva, as, Edashi, fuel. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As fuel overloads a fire, so the embryo created by the semen of Kashyapa in the womb of Diti has caused complete darkness throughout the universe. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The darkness throughout the universe is explained herewith as being caused by the embryo created in the womb of Diti by the semen of Kashyapa.
Maitreya Uvacha Saprahasya Mahabaho Bhagavan Shabda Gocharaha Pratyachastatma Burdevan Prina Ruchiraya Gira. Maitreya Uvacha, Maitreya said, Sa he Prahasya, smiling, Mahabaho, O mighty armed Vidura, Bhagavan, the possessor of all opulences. Shabda Gocharaha, who is understood by transcendental sound vibration. Pratya Chasta replied, Atmabohu, Lord Brahma, Devan, the demigods, Prinan, satisfying, Ruchiraya, with sweet, Gira, words. Translation, Sri Maitreya said, thus Lord Brahma, who is understood by transcendental vibration, tried to satisfy the demigods, being pleased with their words of prayers. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Brahma could understand the misdeeds of Diti, and therefore he smiled at the whole situation. He replied to the demigods present there in words they could understand.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 12. Brahma Vacha Manasa me Suta Yasmat Purvachaha Sana Kathayaha Cherur Vihaya Yasa Lokal Lokeshu Vigata Spruha. Brahma Uvacha, Lord Brahma said, Manasaha, born from the mind, me, my, Sutaha, sons, Yasmat, then you, Purvajaha, born previously, Sanaka Adyaha, headed by Sanaka, Cheruhu, travelled, Vihayasa, by travelling in outer space or flying in the sky, Lokan, to the material and spiritual worlds, Lokeshu, among the people, Vigatas Pruha, without any desire. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Brahma said, my four sons, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara, who were born from a mind, are your predecessors. Sometimes they travel throughout the material and spiritual skies without any definite desire. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When we speak of desire, we refer to desire of material sense gratification. Saintly persons like Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara have no material desire, but sometimes they travel all over the universe out of their own accord to preach devotional service.
Text 13. Ta ekada bhagavato vaikuntasya malatmanaha yayur vaikunta nilayam sarvaloka namaskrutam. They ekada, once upon a time, Bhagavataha, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vaikuntasya, of Lord Vishnu, Amala Atmanaha, being freed from all material contamination, Yayu entered Vaikunta Nilayam, the abode named Vaikunta, Sarvaloka, by the residents of all the material planets, Namaskrutam, worshipped. Translation, after thus traveling all over the universes, they also entered into the spiritual sky, for they were freed from all material contamination. In the spiritual sky, there are spiritual planets known as Vaikuntas, which are the residents of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and His pure devotees and are worshipped by the residents of all the material planets. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The material world is full of cares and anxieties. In any one of the planets, beginning from the highest down to the lowest, Patala, every living creature must be full of cares and anxieties, because in the material planets one cannot live eternally. The living entities, however, are actually eternal. They want an eternal home, an eternal residence, but because of accepting a temporal abode in the material world, they are naturally full of anxiety. In the spiritual sky, the planets are called Vaikunta because the residents of the planets are free from all anxieties. For them, there is no question of birth, death, old age, and diseases, and therefore they are not anxious. On the other hand, the residents of the material planets are always afraid of birth, death, disease, and old age, and therefore they are full of anxieties.
Text 14. Vashanti atra purushaha sarve vaikuntamurtayaha nenimitta nimittena dharme naradayan harim. Vashanti, they live. Yatra, where? Purushaha, person, sarve, all. Vaikunta murtayaha, having a four-handed form similar to that of the Supreme Lord, Vishnu. Yea, those Vaikunta persons, animita, without without desire for sense gratification, nimitena, caused by, dharmena, by devotional service, aradayan, continuously worshipping, harim, under the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation: in the Vaikuntha planets, all the residents are similar in form to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They all engage in devotional service to the Lord without desires for sense gratification. Purport: the residents and the form of living in Vaikuntha are described in this verse. The residents are all like the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana. In the Vaikuntha planets, Krishna's plenary feature as four-handed Narayana is the predominating deity. As the residents of Vaikuntha are also four-handed, just contrary to our conception here in the material world. Nowhere in the material world do we find a human being with four hands. In Vaikuntha Loka, there is no occupation but the service of the Lord, and this service is not rendered with a purpose. Although every service has a particular result, the devotees never aspire for the fulfillment of their own desires. Their desires are fulfilled by rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 15. Yatra chadya puman aste Bhagavan sabdagocharaha Sattvam vistabhya virajam Swanam mo mrudayan vrushaha. Yatra, in the Vaikuntha planets, Cha and Adhya, original, Puman, person, Aste, is there, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sabda Gocharaha, understood through the Vedic literature, Sattvam, the mode of goodness, Vistabhya, accepting, Virajam, uncontaminated, Swanam, of his own associates, Naha, us, Mrudayan, increasing happiness, Varsha, the personification of religious principles. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the Vaikuntha planets is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original person and who cannot understand through the Vedic literature. He is full of the uncontaminated mode of goodness, with no place for passion or ignorance. He contributes religious progress for the devotees. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The kingdom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the spiritual sky cannot be understood by any process other than hearing from the description of the Veda. No one can go see it. In this material world also, one who is unable to pay to go to a far distant place by motorized conveyances can only understand about that place from authentic books. Similarly, the Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky are beyond this material sky. The modern scientists who are trying to travel in space are having difficulty going even to the nearest planet, the moon, to say nothing of the highest planets within the universe. There is no possibility that they can go beyond the material sky, enter the spiritual sky, and see for themselves the spiritual planets, Vaikuntha. Therefore, the kingdom of God in the spiritual sky can be understood only through the authentic descriptions of the Vedas and Puranas. In the material world, there are three modes of material qualities: goodness, passion, and ignorance. But in the spiritual world, there is no trace of the modes of passion and ignorance. There is only the mode of goodness, which is uncontaminated by any tinge of ignorance or passion. In the material world, even if a person is completely in goodness, he is sometimes subject to be polluted by tinges of the modes of ignorance and passion. But in the Vaikuntha world, the spiritual sky, only the mode of goodness is in its pure form exists. The Lord and his devotees reside in the Vaikuntha planets, and they are of the same transcendental quality, namely Sudha Sattva, the mode of pure goodness. The Vaikuntha planets are very dear to the Vaishnavas. and for the progressive march of the Vaishnavas toward the kingdom of God. The Lord Himself helps His devotees.
Text 16, Canto 3, Chapter 15. Yatra naish shreyasam nama vanam kama dugair drumai sarvatu shribir vibrajat kaivalyam iva murtimad. Yatra, in the Vaikuntha planets, Naishreyasam, auspicious, Nama, named, Vanam, forest, Kama, Dugai, yielding desire, Drumai, with trees, Sarva, all, Rudu, season, Shribi, with flowers and fruits, Vibrajat, splendid, Kaivalyam, spiritual, Iva, eyes, Murtimat, personal. Translation: in those Vaikuntha planets, there are many forests which are very auspicious. In those forests, the trees are desired trees, and in all seasons, they are filled with flowers and fruits because everything in the Vaikuntha planets is spiritual and personal. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the Vaikuntha planet, the land, the trees, the fruits and flowers, and the cows, everything is completely spiritual and personal. The trees are desired trees. On this material planet, the trees can produce fruits and flowers according to the order of material energy. But in the Vaikuntha planets, the trees, the land, the residents, the animals are all spiritual. There is no difference between the tree and the animal or the animal and the man. Here the word Murtimat indicates that everything has a spiritual form. Formlessness as conceived by the impersonalist is refuted in this verse. In the Vaikuntha planets, although everything is spiritual, everything has a particular form. The trees and the men have form, and because all of them, although differently formed, are spiritual, there is no difference between them.
Vaimanika salanas lalana sharitani sasvad gayanti yatra shamalakshapannani barutu. It doesn't make sense. What? Like, just say it. I don't know. I don't know that tune. I'll just say it. Let me just say it. Vaimanika salan lenas chari tani saswad. Vaimanika salalana shari saswad gayanti yatra samalakshapana nibartu antarjalenu vikashan madhuva madhavinam gadena kandi tadyopi anilam kshipanta.
Vaimanika sarana charitani sashvat gayanti yatra samalakshapannani bartu antarjale nuvikishan madhu madhavinam gandena kandita diyopi anilam kshipyantaha. Vaimanika, flying in their airplane, Salalanaha, along with their wives, Charitani, activities, Sashwat, eternally, Gayanti, sing, Yatra, in those Vaikuntha planets, Samala, in all auspicious qualities. Kshepanani, devoid of birth of the Supreme Lord, Antajjala in the midst of the water, Anuvikasad blossoming, Madhu fragrant, laden with honey, Madhavinam of the Madhavi flowers, Gandhena by the fragrance, Kandita disturbed, Diya minds, Api even though Anilam breeze, Kshipantaha deriding.
Translation. On the Vaikuntha planets, the inhabitants fly in their aeroplanes, accompanied by their wives and consorts, and eternally sing of the character and activities of the Lord, which are always devoid of all inauspicious qualities. While singing the glories of the Lord, they deride even the presence of the blossoming Madhavi flowers, which are fragrant and laden with honey. Purport. It appears from this verse that the Vaikuntha planets are full of opulences. There are airplanes in which the inhabitants travel in the spiritual sky with their sweethearts. There is a breeze of carrying the fragrance of blossoming flowers, and this breeze is so nice that it also carries the honey of the flowers. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha, however, are so interested in glorifying the Lord that they do not like to disturb of such a nice breeze while they are chanting the glories of the Lord's glories. In other words, they are pure devotees. They consider glorification of the Lord more important than their own sense gratification. In the Vaikuntha planets, there is no question of sense gratification. To smell the fragrance of a blossoming flower is certainly very nice, but it is simply for sense gratification. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha give first preference to the service of the Lord, not their own sense gratification. Serving the Lord is transcendental love yields such transcendental pleasure in that in comparison, sense gratification is counted as insignificant.
Text 18. Paravataanyabhrutah sarasa chakravaka datyuha hamsa sukatitiri barhinam ya कोलाहलो विरमते चिरमात्रमुच्छये भृङ्गादिपे हरिकथं युवगायमाने Paravata pigeons, Anyabhrita cuckoo, Sarasa crane, Chakravaka Datyuha Gallinule Hamsa swan, Sukha parrot, Tittiri partridge, Barhinam of the peacock, Yah which, Kolanaha tumult, Viramate stops, Achira matram temporarily, Uchai loudly, Brungadipe king of the bumblebees, Harikatam the glories of the Lord, Eva as, Gayamane while singing. Translation: when the king of bees hums in a high pitch, singing the glories of the Lord, there is a temporary lull in the noise of the pigeon, the cuckoo, the crane, the chakravaka, the swan, the parrot, the partridge, and the peacock. Such transcendental birds stop their own singing simply to hear the glories of the Lord. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This verse reveals the absolute nature of Vaikuntha. There is no difference between the birds there and the human residents. The situation in the spiritual sky is that everything is spiritual and variegated. Spiritual variegatedness means that everything is animate. There is nothing inanimate. Even the trees, the ground, the plants, the flowers, the birds, and the beasts are all on the level of Krishna consciousness. The special feature of Vaikuntha Loka is that there is no question of sense gratification. In the material world, even an ass enjoys his sound vibration. But in the Vaikuntha, such nice birds as the peacock, the chakravaka, and the cuckoo prefer to hear the vibration of the glories of the Lord from the bees. The principles of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting, are very prominent in the Vaikuntha world.
Text 19. Mandar Kunda Kurubo Talapalak Chambakana Punna Ganaga Bakulam Buja Parijataha Gande Rachite Tulasi Kaka Kabharanena Tasya Yasmims Tapasam So Bahu Manayanti
Abhi, you will never progress in Sanskrit if you do this. You will never. If you are willingly choose not to progress in Sanskrit, I will read it. On count of three, you make decision. 3, 2. Until you push your mind, you cannot progress. The laziness is pulling down. I will read. It's not a problem for me. You cannot progress in life. Make a choice. You make a choice. You want progress further or not? You can do it. 1 year ago, you were not able to read Sanskrit. Now you are reading. It's not problem. It's not.
Mandara Kunda Kuraba Utpala everything the same thing. Champara Arna flower Champaka Arna flower Punga Punnaga Naga fragrance. Oh, Naga Shakkara. Keshara. Bakula. Ambuja. Lily. Parijataha. Parijataha. Gande, fragrance, Harishite, being worshipped, Tulasi, Aparanena, with a garland, Tasya of her, Yasmin, in which Vaikuntha, Tapaha, austerity, Samana Saha, good-minded, Vaikuntha, minded, Bahu, very much, Manayanti, glorify. Translation. Although flowering plants like the Mandara, Kunda, Kurabaka, Utpala, Kampaka, Arna, Punga, Nagakeshara, Bakula, Lily and Parijata are full of gentle fragrance, but they are still conscious of the austerities performed by Tulsi, for Tulsi is given special preference by the Lord, who garlands himself with Tulsi leaves. Purport. The importance of Tulsi leaves is very clearly mentioned here. Tulsi plants and their leaves are very important in devotional service. Devotees are recommended to water the Tulsi tree every day and collect the leaves to worship the Lord. One time, an atheistic Swami remarked, "What is the use of watering the Tulsi leaf plant? It is better to water eggplant. By watering the eggplant, one can get some fruits. But what is the use of watering the tulsi? These foolish creatures, unacquainted with devotional service, sometimes play havoc with the education of people in general. The most important thing about the spiritual world is that there is no envy among the devotees there. This is true even among the flowers, which are all conscious of the greatness of Tulsi. In the Vaikuntha world, entered by the four Kumaras, even the bird and flowers are conscious of service of the Lord. Already, Daddy.
What? Text 20. Let's sing together. You can sing with me, okay? यत्सङ्कुलं हरिपदनातिमात्रदृष्टैर्वैदूर्यमारकता हेममयैर्विमानैः एषं बृहत्कति तदा स्मितसोऽभिमुख्याः कृष्णात्मनं न रजा आददूरुच्चमायदैद्यैः उच्चमयद्यैः Mayadhyai is Maya. Yet that Vaikuntha abode, Sankulam is pervaded, Haripada at the two lotus feet of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anati by obeisances, Matra simply, Drustai are obtained, Vaidurya, Lapis lazuli, Marakata, emeralds, Hema gold, Mayai made of, Vimanai with airplanes, Esham of those passengers, Bruhat large, Katitata hips, Smita smiling, Sobi beautiful, Mukyaha faces, Krishna in Krishna, Atmanam whose minds are absorbed, Na not, Raja sex desire, Adadu stimulate, Uchmaya Adhyai by intimate friendly dealings, laughing and joking. Translation? Okay, I'll read.
The inhabitants of Vaikuntha travel in their airplanes and made of lapis lazuli, emerald and gold. Although crowded by their consorts who have large hips and beautiful smiling faces, they cannot be assimilated to passion by their mirth and beautiful charms.
Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the material world, opulences are achieved by materialistic persons, by dint of their labor. One cannot enjoy material prosperity unless he works very hard to achieve it. But the devotees of the Lord who are residents of Vaikuntha have the opportunity to enjoy transcendental situation of jewels and emeralds. Ornaments made of gold, bedecked with jewels, are achieved not by working hard but by the benediction of the Lord. In other words, devotees in the Vaikuntha world or even in this material world cannot be poverty stricken, as is sometimes supposed. They have ample opulences for enjoyment, but they need not labor to achieve them. It is also stated that in the Vaikuntha worlds, the concerts of the residents are many times more beautiful than we can find in this material world, even in the higher planets. It is specifically mentioned here that a woman's large hips are very attractive and they stimulate man's passion. But the wonderful feature of the Vaikuntha is that although the women have large hips and beautiful faces and are decorated with ornaments of emeralds and jewels, the men are so absorbed in Krishna consciousness that the beautiful bodies of the women cannot attract them. In other words, There is enjoyment of the association of the opposite sex, but there is no sexual relationship. The residents of Vaikuntha have a better standard of pleasure, so there is no need of sex pleasure.
Shrirupini Kvayanti Charanarvindam Lilam Bhujena Hariya Sadyoni Muktudosha Samdrakshayati Spatika Kudya Upeta Hemni Samarjadiva Yad Anugrahena Grahanena Grahaninyayatana Yatnaha. Shri Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, Rupini, assuming a beautiful form. Kvanayati, tinkling. Charanaravrindam, lotus feet. Leela, Ambujena, playing with the lotus flower. Hari, Sadmani, the house of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mukta dosha, freed from all faults. Samlakshate, becomes visible. Sva. Let me look. It's sva. Sphatika, crystal. Kudya, walls. Upeta, mixed. Hemni, gold. Samarjati, eva, appearing like a sweeper. Yat anugrahena, to receive her favor. Anya, others. Yatnaha, very much careful. Translation. The ladies in the Vaikuntha planets are as beautiful as the goddess of fortune herself. Such transcendently beautiful ladies, their hands playing with lotuses and their leg bangles tinkling, and sometimes seen sweeping the marble walls, which are becked at intervals with golden borders, in order to receive the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Supreme Lord Govinda is always served in his abode by many, many millions of goddesses of fortune. Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambarama Sevyamanam. Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambarama Sevyamanam. These millions and trillions of goddesses of fortune who reside in the Vaikuntha planets are not exactly consorts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but are the wives of the consorts of the Supreme Personality, but are the wives of the devotees of the Lord, and also engage in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is stated here that in the Vaikuntha planets, the houses are made of marble. Similarly, in the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the ground on the Vaikuntha planets is made of touchstone. Thus, there is no need to sweep the stone in Vaikuntha, for there is hardly any dust on it. But still, in order to satisfy the Lord, the ladies there always engage in dusting the marble walls. Why? The reason is that they are eager to achieve the grace of the Lord. by doing so. It is also stated here that in the Vaikuntha planets, the goddess of fortune, are faultless. Generally, the goddess of fortune does not remain steadily in one place. Her name is Chanchala, which means one who is not steady. We find therefore that a man who is very rich may become the poorest of the poor. Another example is Ravana. Ravana took away Lakshmi, Sita ji, to his kingdom, and instead of being happy by the goddess of Lakshmi, his family and his kingdom were vanquished. Thus, Lakshmi in the house of Ravana is Chanchala, or unsteady. Men of Ravana's class went Lakshmi only, without her husband. Narayana, therefore, they become unsteady due to Lakshmi ji. Materialistic persons find a fault on the part of Lakshmi, but in Vaikuntha, Lakshmi ji is fixed in the service of the Lord. In spite of her being the goddess of fortune, she cannot be happy without the grace of the Lord. Even the goddess of fortune needs the Lord's grace in order to be happy. Yet in the material world, even Brahma, the highest created being, seeks the favor of Lakshmi for happiness.
Switch out if you are. What time is text? Okay. Text 22. Let's sing together. वापीषु विद्रुमा ततासु अमलामृताप्सु प्रशान्विता निजवने तुलसीबीरीशाम् अभ्यार्चति स्वलकम् उन्नसम् ईक्षवक्त्रम् उच्चेसितं भगवतेति अमताङ्गयच्छ्रुहि. You did it. Vapisu, in the ponds. Vidruma, made of coral. Tadasu, banks. Amala, transparent. Amruta, nectarian. Apsu, water. Preshanvita, surrounded by maid servants. Nijavane, in her own garden. Tulasi be with a Tulasi. Isham, the Supreme Lord. Abhyarchati, worship. Su alakam, with her face decorated with tilaka. Unnasam, raised nose. Iksha, by seeing. Vaktram, face. Uchchesitam, being kissed. Bhagavata, by the Supreme Lord. Iti thus. Amata, thought. Anga, O demigods. Yat Srihi, whose beauty. Translation: the goddesses of fortune worship the Lord in their own gardens by offering tulsi leaves on the coral paved banks of transcendental reservoirs of water. While offering worship to the Lord, they can see on the water of the reflection of their beautiful faces with raised noses. And it appears that they have become more beautiful because the Lord's kissing their faces. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Generally, when a woman is kissed by her husband, her face becomes more beautiful. In Vaikuntha also, although the goddess of fortune is naturally as beautiful as can be imagined, she nevertheless awaits the kissing of the Lord to make her face more beautiful. The beautiful face of the goddess of fortune appears in ponds of the transcendental crystal water when she worships the Lord with tulasi leaves in her garden. Text 23. Yenna vrajanti agabido rachananu vadaj shrunvanti yanya Vishaya kukata matignihi yastu shruta hatabagair dribir atasaras tam stan kshipanti Asareneshu tamashu hanta. Yet Vaikunta none ever Rujanti approach Aga Bida of the vanquisher of all kinds of sins, Rachana of the creation, Anuvada then narration, Shrinvanti hear, yea those who Anya other Vishayai subject matter, Kukata bad words, Matigni killing intelligence, Matigni Yah which too but Srutaha or heard, Hatabhagai unfortunate, Drubihi by men, Atta taken away, Saharaha values of life, Than such persons, Kshipanti are thrown, Asaraneshu divide of all shelter, Tamasu in the darkest part of material existence, Hanta alas. Translation: it is very much regrettable that unfortunate people do not discuss the description of the Vaikuntha planets but engage in topics which are unworthy to hear and which bewilder one's intelligence. Those who give up the topics of Vaikuntha and take to talk of the material world are thrown into the darkest region of ignorance. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The most unfortunate persons are the impersonalists who cannot understand the transcendental variegatedness of the spiritual world. They are afraid to talk about the beauty of the Vaikuntha planets because they think the variegatedness must be material. Such materialists think that the spiritual world is completely void, or in other words, that there is no variegatedness. This mentality is described here as Kukata Matignihi, intelligence bewildered by unworthy words. The philosophies of voidness and of the impersonal situation of the spiritual world are condemned here because they bewilder one's intelligence. How can the impersonalist and the void philosopher think of this material world, which is full of variegatedness, and then say that there is no variegatedness in the spiritual world? It is said that this material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So, unless there is variegatedness in the spiritual world, how can there be temporary variegatedness in the material world? That one can transcend this material world does not imply that there is no transcendental variegatedness. Here in the Bhagavatam, in this verse particularly, it is stressed that people who try to discuss and understand the real spiritual nature of the spiritual sky and the Vaikunthas are fortunate. The variegatedness of the Vaikuntha planets is described in relation to the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, but instead of trying to understand the spiritual abode, the spiritual activities of the Lord, people are more interested in politics and economic developments. They hold many conventions, meetings, and discussions to solve problems of this worldly situation, where they can remain for only a few years, but they are not interested in understanding the spiritual situation of the Vaikuntha world. If they are at all fortunate, they become interested in going back home, back to Godhead, but unless they understand the spiritual world, they rot in this material darkness continuously. Today we read up to Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 23. We'll continue reading tomorrow. Gandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. We'll continue to Guru Puja. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Banna Mui Savadana Mate, Jahara Prasade Bai, He Baba Toriya Jai. Krishna Prapti ho jaha hoite, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitate Koriya Kya. Hare na kori hamane asha, Ji Guru Charane Rati Aise Utama Gati. Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha, Chakshudan dilo je janme janme Prabhu se, Dive Gyan Hruday Prakashita, Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasha Jate, Viveka Jahara Charita, Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Jenara Bandhu, Lokenath Lokera Jivana, Ah Prabhu Koro Doya Deha More Padachaya, Ebe Gad Gusuk Tribhuvana, Srila Prabhupada Pita Pavana, पतित पावन जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नित्यनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष्य शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत करतर शिवासारि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. With great awe and reverence. By His grace, one can cross the ocean of materials Shri Krishna, my only wish as to my conscience is purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkness and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic heaven emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scripture saying his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, the Lord and master devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give the shade of your lotus feet. Leave all over the three worlds. We take the shelter of your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.